There are three lines over here. You can hold to it and drag to it. Now, first one might be the login, then it might be the home page, then it might be add something to the cart, then it might be logout. You can rearrange the sequence of your requests by holding it and drag and drop. Correct? Simple. So today until now you have learned about how to click on run, how to execute all the APIs, whether you have to execute single API or multiple APIs or the entire collection folder. You are able to execute it with multiple iterations. You can execute at a particular time. You can even execute by rearranging the APIs. Simple. Do it in your system. First,
bro, స్టడీ చేసినాం కదా అది ఒకసారి చేయాలి క్రోమ్ ఓపెన్ చేయండి ఇది ఇది కూడా ఉందా చేసి ఆర్ఈక్యూ చేసినాం కదా రికార్డ్సా ఇదా చేసినాం సేమ్ అదే ప్రాసెస్ చేయాలి కూడా అదే చేసి ఇప్పుడు చెప్పిన ప్రాసెస్ చేయాలి కదా
you create one workspace. This I already have. See, workspaces. Create a workspace. First, create a workspace. Create a workspace over here. Give a name to it. API. Testing classes. Here, when you create a workspace, you can even give restrictions to it. Is it a public, is it a private, or is it for a particular team? Okay. You can even create on this. So workspace will be created. Okay, just now it has been created. You can even add the team members to it. Workspace setting. Here, invite. Now, if I have to invite him to my workspace, or in your team, if you have 10 members who are working on it, they are also able to see the results of the API. Then, all the 10 members email address you can paste it here. In the email ID. At gmail.com. If I can even give him as an editor or a viewer, but by default it is admin. Name the editor.
నెట్ కనెక్షన్ ఇస్తుంది
I'll send the invite. Okay, I'll send the invite. So they will get in their email a particular invite saying that you have been invited for this particular Postman workspace. In that workspace, you can create a collection. They can also create a collection. They can also add a request. The other team members who has the access to it, it is just like the Google Drive. If you have provided access, you are able to edit it, delete it, you are able to add few more files to it. The same way, here you can click on create a new request, you can add the request. Correct? From there, you should be able to execute it by clicking on run collection. If you want to switch the workspace, on the workspace, you have recently visited workspaces. I was doing it in my workspace.
ఇప్పుడు ఈ ప్రాసెస్ చెప్పింది ఏంటంటే పోస్ట్ మనీ ఈ 3 days
Online guys, is there any doubt?
run collection వచ్చింది select ఇక్కడ
Agala. Yes, you have to create a workspace.
మళ్ళీ చేద్దాం. వర్క్ స్పేస్ క్రియేట్ చేయాలి. వర్క్ స్పేస్ క్రియేట్ చేయాలి. ఎలా చేయాలి? సెట్టింగ్స్ ఇక్కడేనా? ఇక్కడ స్పేస్ లేదా ఆప్షన్ చేసావు నేను చేసి
ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಮೇಲ್ ಐಡಿ ಕೊಡಿ ಒಂದು ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ. See, if you don't have hands-on experience on the Postman, you may clear the theoretical part of the API, but once you are inside a company, you don't know, you will ask him where is the run request, where is the results, out. They will not tolerate if you ask such questions. So do more on the Postman. There are other tools as well. Swagger is there, GraphQL is there, but Postman is boom. 99% of the companies will ask you to test in Postman. Naita, shall I continue?
sir, network.
Shall I continue? Are you able to execute the collection? No. Why?
No network.
Connect from your mobile. Inviter, no? Obviously, how did you send her email? Shall I continue? Is it done? Online guys, is it done?
Network లేదు సార్. కనెక్ట్ అయిందా?
Only Abba aim plans. Only what plans? No plans for Holi? Namna. Go attend office. Fast complaint ಮಾಡಿ. Prevention of sexual harassment. Fast full form. ಹುಡುಗಿರ ಜೊತೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಓಡಿ ಆಡಿದ್ರೆ ಫಾಸ್ಟ್ ಕಂಪ್ಲೇಂಟ್. ಯಾಕೆ ಬೇಕು ಬೇಡ. I also didn't know what is the full form of FAST. Somewhere last month they conducted a session, then I understood prevention of sexual harassment. Even if you ask girls, are you married? It's a sexual harassment. Yalla you can't even ask them. What is your name? Done? Shall I continue? Everyone done?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Here you see something on a particular request. Whenever you click on a particular request, on the right topmost corner you have no environment. Correct? No environment. Here you have environment quick look with an eye symbol here. Everyone, are you able to see that?
Yes, sir.
Environment quick look. Click on that. You will have a pop-up. Correct? You will have a pop-up. No active environment. Globals. ಅಂತ ಇದೆ. ಅಲ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಅದರ ಮೇಲೆ. No globals. Yeah, correct. Because you have not at all written anything there, right? I have written it. Use variables to reuse values and protect sensitive data. Variable type. Okay. Elli anta gottaagಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ here down you have variable type. ಏನು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ಸಲ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ಸಲ್ ಮಾಡು. When you click on this variable type, it will open up a web page. It will open up a web page. This particular thing is the learning.postman.com. Learning.postman.com. The entire tool functionality is there in this particular document. Help document. This is Postman's help document. Okay, now, if you have any doubt how to use Postman, you can come and refer to this particular website. This is the authentic website of Postman. So here, if you want to learn about what is a variable, how to use a variable, understanding the different ways you can provide a particular variable, everything is mentioned over here. Okay? ಇದನ್ನು ನೋಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿರಿ. So I have covered, if I have to see here, I have covered sending request, building request I have done. Okay. Authorizing I have not done, receiving response I have done. Group response in group request in a collection we have done. Using variables. Okay. Using variables. Click on this particular environment quick look icon in the workbench. Next to globals, click on edit. Add if no variables are already added. Somewhere here he is telling you this. Click on. If you don't have any variable, then it is. You can click on add. What are these variables? See, for the 10 requests which you have created, or the 6 or the 10 requests which you have created in the collection, the URL is in common. Yes or no, maybe?
Yes, sir.
Right. Instead of you writing http:// www dot or request.in for all the 10 requests. You can define it at one place, call that particular variable at 10 places. The same concept of Java of defining a variable, right? So here you have to provide a particular name to it, the initial value and the current value. Okay, the current value is also the same. Hit enter. Now you have to call this particular variable. There is a particular syntax where you have to use it to call this particular variable in your request. Right? In your request. So this entire thing is your variable. In order to call that, double curly braces, the name of the variable, close. It will change its color from black to orange. As simple as that. When you mouse over on it, first save it, you will get something called as G. G means global variable. L means local variable. Here there is nothing called as local variable. It is environmental variable. While doing testing, you might have worked, or you might know there is a QA environment, there is a UAT environment, there is a production environment. Right? The APIs which you are executing will not change across the environment. Even if it is changing, the URLs might be changing, but the functionality remains the same. Yes, no, maybe. Yes. The website will remain the same, the functionality will remain the same, but the user IDs, whichever you use, you might be using it for the QA user IDs. In the production, it's the real-time user IDs. Yes, in your manual testing, you might have covered this, right? In the similarly, for which environment, for which variable you are using, matters. Here I have taken an example of the URL because it is common for all the 10 requests. Correct? Instead of you writing https://request.in, you can define that as a variable, change in all the respective APIs. Correct? Save each and every API. Correct? Now if you want to see if it is working fine or not, click on send button. You should be able to get the response as you were getting earlier. Simple. Understood the concept of variable? Global variable? Correct? Now there is something also called as environment. Now if you want to add an environment like QA environment, UAT environment, production environment, you can give the environment name as a QA. In the QA environment, the URL might be changing. Here it is same, request.in, it's the production environment. Okay, I'll take it as prod. In the prod, what is the variable name? It is the URL. Correct? What is the initial value? It is nothing but your https://request.in. Current value also, it is the same. Correct? Save this. Now you have to call that global or the environmental variable. How it is defined? It is again this. Unresolved variable. Make sure that the variable is defined and enabled in the active environment. No environment is selected, you can select the environment. Now when you do it here, you get it as E. Environmental variable. For the entire QA environment, this is the variable which you have provided. For a specific request, if you want to do, you can do it using global variable. Simple, easy, difficult. Okay. So if I have to create one more collection, I'll create one more collection and give it as rec prod. I'll create one request over here add a request, get request. Okay. I will enter it here. I want to provide global or the environmental variable. Here I have to just select prod. So I have two collections, request prod and request, which are working in the environment prod. In the environment level, I have defined a variable. The same variable is used for both the collections. How many variables are there? What are those? Global variable and environmental variable. There is nothing called as local variable in Postman. That is only in Java. Environmental variable, because here the testing differs on different environments. The QA environment, production environment, UAT environment. If you want to define something at the environmental variable, which can be used across multiple collections, then define that in the environmental variable. If you want to use it for a particular collection, particular request, you don't want to use it across for different collections, so you can do it in global variable. The syntax for defining or calling that particular variable is double curly braces. Easy? Easy, difficult? This completes your, yes please. Yes please. Yaar ಏನಂದ್ರು online. Someone told sir. Okay, you told yes sir. Okay, this guide which I have provided to you, you can go and look into it. It is the same thing which they have explained in detail, step by step. Like understanding the variables, environmental variable, it is E, correct? And the scopes, environmental variables, global variables. Collection variable is what your collection you are using. Aita. Local variables, there is nothing called as local variables right now. Don't worry about that. Okay na? Same thing. Ditto ka ditto. No change. Okay? So do this variables now. It is always the same. It is the double curly braces. There is no other change. Whatever it is, you might use it as the URL or the username or the password. Wherever you feel it can be called as as a variable, you have to mark it in the global or in the environment and call it using double curly braces. Ashte. Environments are, that's all. Martira? Madi. Do it. We will look into the other things later on. Define an environmental variable, define a global variable, call it to your entire collection, run that entire collection and see the results. If it is working properly or not. Okay? We will look into the dynamic variables later on, how to put that variables in the snippets. We will look into that. Again, that will be on the advanced version. Basic version is this much. Define a variable and call the variables. Do it and let me know. Fast. Madi bega. Fast.
Bro, usually gate
Environmental production ಅಂತ ಇದೆಯಲ್ವಾ ಈ ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಬೇಡ ನಾನು ಮಾರ್ಕ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅವಾಗ ನಿಮ್ದು ಎನ್ವೈರನ್ಮೆಂಟಲ್ ವೇರಿಯಬಲ್ ವರ್ಕ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ ಆ API ಆ ಎನ್ವೈರನ್ಮೆಂಟಲ್ ಎಕ್ಸಿಕ್ಯೂಟ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ಎನ್ವೈರನ್ಮೆಂಟಲ್ ವೇರಿಯಬಲ್ ಅಂತ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು Shall I continue? There is one more variable called as collection variable which I can do it now. ಏನಿಲ್ಲ ಕನಸು ಮಕ್ಕಳಾಟ ಏನಿಲ್ಲ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ there is nothing much in this. Response or request to write the script to execute to demand. You 10 minutes. Not 10 minutes only collection variables. Hey. Okay. On the collection variables. Okay. See what we have done. What are the different collections we have here? We have record and request are the two collections which we have worked on. Right? These are the collections or the folder name. Right? Here click on this. Double click on that also, it will open up a particular collection folder. Correct? Here you have different tabs. Authorization, prerequisite script, test, variables, run. Do you see variables here? Yes. Click on that variable, add a new variable here. http://request.in. Aita? Save it. Okay. Now in this particular URL variable which you have defined it for the collection cannot be used for this particular. If you want to differentiate it, I will give it as URL C. Aita? Correct? I'll go to this particular request. I can rename this as URL C. It will show me in C. C is for collection. E is for environment. G is for global. This collection variable which is defined it here, the scope cannot be used in the next collection here. If I enter URLC, red color, unresolved variable. So the scope where you can use it is within that particular collection. The scope of the environment is across the collection if the collections are using that particular environment. Simple. Simple. So how many variables are there?
Three variables.
What are those?
Global, environmental, collection.
Now one doubt. If I define environment and collection variable both with the same name, both with the same variable name, aವಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? Let us see. You were here. Here it was URL alva. I'll edit this. I'll give it as URL C. Global ali. Now here, the first preference is collection. The first preference is collection. Got it? This might be a question in your interview. First, it will take the request. It will see whether it is there in the global, then whether it is there in the collection. Then it will see for the global. Then it will see for the environment. Simple. If both the variables are of the same name, do it.
Send request.
Do it first.
Create చేయండి.
ಇದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ನಾನು ನಾಳೆ ಮತ್ತೆ wait ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. The major concept in the API is authorization. Authorization. When you go to authorization here, you have so many types of authorization. The major things which they will do it is basic auth, OAuth 1, OAuth 2. Basic authorizations are, the authorizations in API are basic authorization, OAuth 1, OAuth 2. We will discuss in detail about OAuth 1 and OAuth 2 tomorrow. Okay? OAuth 1 and OAuth 2. So tomorrow's class, please do not miss it. If you miss, this is a pakka sure shot question in the interview. If you don't answer what is the difference between OAuth 1 and OAuth 2 out of the interview, even if you have answered Java, Selenium, everything. You have to answer the difference between OAuth 1 and OAuth 2. Pakka sure shot question. Even if you know global collection, global variable, environmental variable, collection variable, how to run, results, what is API. If you don't know what is token, what is SIF token, what is authorization, again, SIF tokens are again coming inside the authorization itself. Okay? So what is OAuth 1, OAuth 2, you are out of the game. If you answer this, then you will definitely clear the issue. So if I complete OAuth 1 and OAuth 2, 80% of your postman is completed. If I complete OAuth 1 and OAuth 2, 80% is completed. The other 20% is your automation. Okay. The other things which I have left out is in the recurrence.in we have multiple other things also, right? We did not do all these things. Correct? Put to patch delete. The other question, sure question is what is the difference between put and post? Put and patch. What is OAuth 1, OAuth 2? What is client, what is server? Different status codes. That's all is your API interview questions. Aita? Okay, so please bring your laptops, do this collection, define your own things. Okay, there are again mock servers are
Add
there,
request.
there are again monitors are there are again flows are there. These are the three things which are left out in Postman, not for the testers, but if the whole company runs on the API testing itself, then they will definitely do mocking a service. They will definitely mock a service. Mocking means reproducing it without using the real-time data. I am mocking you, you are imitating me. So the real-time API can be mocked also. So that we'll see at the end for the 90%. Right? So tomorrow, please do not miss out the class. Tomorrow is OAuth 1 authorization. It's very, very, very much important. I will go very, very slow in that. It will take 2 days for you to get understand on the authentication. Right? So we'll do it tomorrow. Thank you so much. Tata, bye bye. See you. Online guys, please do not miss out tomorrow's class. It's very, very much important. Okay. Okay. Tomorrow at 10 a.m. Sure.